This is some pretty consistent corn. So I also own a farm. Here we go. You're now watching the 2024 season of Farming with Duffy Ag. Figures my front one's a little overloaded. I was gonna try to put the tarp over, but I said I'll just send it up to the field. We'll get the front unloaded, some we'll tarp it even though it's got a rip. And it's raining. It might be shaking out enough now that okay, we got the tarp on. We want it to kind of rain, but we don't want it to be a complete mess. Because we want to spread in the rain. Well, we want it to not oxidize. So this stuff is enriched, so it's treated. That way it doesn't oxidize in case we don't get rain in a few days, but that's not usually our case around here right now. So we're over here. We'll get the boom out, pull the auger out. Back it up. I think I pulled too far forward. And of course, we got no more rain in the radar. But I have a feeling it will rain some more. I don't know. Couldn't do much about it, right? But it will be good to get it on. That's why we did it enriched. I don't know what the price difference is. I'll let you guys know when we get there. Loading. So we should be able to just fill this twice and we're good. And this should spread pretty easy and quick. I hope. It is raining right now still, so not the best thing, but not the worst thing either. It is what it is. Well, we're gonna put quite a bit of nitrogen on this because the stand actually looks pretty good compared to last year, other than this here where there's ledge and everything else in between. But we're gonna feed this some nitrogen and hopefully get a good crop out of it, especially with the price of nitrogen coming down. Well, urea coming down. So here's some of it. This is ledge, and we went around it as far as spreading fertilizer, but we planted through it. Corn's growing, and then all of a sudden it goes like forest green. But we're gonna feed it. So you come over that hill, and I was wondering how good it was gonna be down in the back here. And it looks way better than last year. You guys right there, drive along. It still needs some. There's spots here and there and stuff like that. This will definitely make this stuff yield better than last year. Last year we were still 125, 130 bushel corn, which that's what I expected off of this ground. Now that I know it a little more, I think we know how to work it and what to do with it. Yeah, this stuff's a little tall to be top dressing, at least with the pull behind spreader. This stuff might be a little too tall, but we're here. And then we got on an end row, but sprayer rows went this way. This is a good looking corn for what it is, to be honest. So a little bit of N will give it a big boost. Well, we walk out here, you can see one of my wider rows. That's what happens when you plant at night and you're tired. But we're putting down about 70 units of nitrogen, as you see, and hopefully it will rain wash that in. It is all treated stuff. It doesn't look very treated now that it's gone through the spreader, so hopefully that will soak it in and these plants will actually get a good jump. There's honestly, the worst parts is everything you can see from the road, which is usually how it goes. Like, once you get in that and then over, same with here, over, it's good to go. But everything is spread on this side of the road. We'll get loaded back up, go on to the other side. We should have enough to wrap up here and do a little bit to the other farm, and then what are you doing? Do the other farm and then do a little bit at the home farm spots that I figured are yeah, we should actually. How much we got left? Oh, got a little bit more than I thought. I don't know how much is actually left in that front compartment. I should pop it up and see. Okay, we got it filled up. Front compartment is empty on the truck, or on the trailer, and rear is about half full. So half full. This should wrap us up here, and then the rest should go to the other rented ground and then a little bit at the home farm, and we will be in a good spot. So I'm glad we're getting this on. Probably should have got it on a little sooner, but then again, urea prices were up, so I'm glad I kind of played. I asked around for a few weeks and they're in a good spot right now, to be honest, and I don't know why. So if somebody knows why, drop it in the comments. But you can see outside rows didn't get enough urea. Usually outside rows never grow good enough, and then it gets green inside. Then we get to like this field that is 100% forest green, and I'm just doing one path because I got to drive to the next one. But yeah, like this field I would not put more nitrogen on. I think it is sufficient right now. So the other day when I drove by, and I decided that I wanted to put urea out here. It's not super tall, but it was much yellower. It's become green since then, like forest green. That still has some lacking, but this looks way better. So alrighty, hopefully this won't hurt. It's not gonna hurt, it just adds to it. This is some pretty consistent corn. I wish we did spread a little bit of urea when it was a little shorter, but it's going to work out. It's getting good coverage, and the plants I think would still be a good crop even if we didn't spread this, but I like it. I'm very excited to see this. Expecting this corn to be pretty nitrogen deficient, and it's honestly not as bad as I would have thought. Okay. Well, yeah, I wish we had a self-propelled sprayer. We would drop nitrogen, to be honest. We're late on putting it on, but we're here. I wish we had a 3-point hitch spreader too instead of the trailer. This corn's actually going to do something this year. We are way ahead of where we were last year, to be honest. Way ahead. So this stuff right here is about where we want to be spreading fertilizer on it. And it's working great now, but then we get into some taller stuff. which I'm not going to complain about. This corn this year looks way better than it did last year, other than we got some nitrogen that needs to be put on, but that is what we were doing now. Well, if you can tell, wet windshield, wet hood, it is actually raining right now. In this field, we got everything from I should not be doing it to stuff like this that is, it should be getting spread out. So I'm going to run this cart out on the shorter stuff, and then we'll get moved to the next farm. Good, consistent corn. I don't know, that junk planter I got did its thing. Gaps between some of the planting rows, not always, that's on me. You know, gotta have something to get better at next year, which we got a whole list. Okay, so I guess we really, I left my hammer there. I guess we really didn't need the enriched nitrogen or enriched urea, but it is handy that it's sprinkling. And honestly, the forecast said it's not going to be sprinkling this afternoon. I had a little bit left in the spreader, but alrighty, we'll get the tender empty. I'm glad everything here, expectations of up front here, lower. There's a lot of ledge rock. This is looking way better than last year. Same with over here. So it just needed some nitrogen. So, alrighty, we'll get it filled up. There we go. We got to make sure to clean that out tomorrow before we take the trailer or take it off the mat. We got 3/4 of load, maybe a little bit more on, so we're about perfect. I got to figure out if I'm gonna get a ride back to get this, or if I'm leaving this here. I got to make some phone calls. I called John. I call his house, and he goes, "What?" And I go, "I was wondering if you're around, but if you answered, you're around." He goes, "Yeah." And I said, you want to give me a ride back to where you dropped me off this morning? That way I'll be back quick. And then, come on, bud. I'll finish up spreading. Well, John dropped me off. I always like riding around with him because he tells me different stories. I need both hands for this right now. He tells me different stories every time we ride. So... Alrighty, stop for some dinner, and well, we're a little behind now, but we are on the move to the last field. We'll get it spread out. Yeah, it's still raining, but definitely need some front fenders on those tires, because you can see it just throwing it up. Never really thought about that until now. But, you know, we don't farm at night anyways. Okay, so this corn that I thought was struggling has some spots that could use it, but then there's some spots that are like 4.5 foot tall. So this was like right here on the right. I don't know, you guys can't see much, but there ain't much growth going on. Yeah, end row, turn back around. So yeah, we're running corn over. That's just how it goes when you're spreading, when you're doing anything. So it's variation. It varies quite a bit across the field. This was sod, and it had been sod for a long time, so I knew going into this that we were going to battle some things and we'd have to figure it out. I'm only spreading this backfield, but it's 20 acres back here. And then I got some at the home farm to wrap up and be good. But yeah, we go from 8 inches tall to 4.5 foot tall. So I think we spread all the really tall stuff already and we're just working our way. But it is still raining, which I'm glad it is because it's soaking this all in. So we are back on the home farm, and to our right is the first field we planted, or I guess second. And the outside rows are probably 5 foot tall, so that's growing along nicely. The last stuff that I planted here, I would like to run the rest of the fertilizer out. We should have probably about 10 acres left in the spreader, and that should give us a good empty spreader and wrapped up any fertilizer, pretty much everything except for harvesting. So last pass. This was the corn we planted after we got done baling. We're between rows. Jump over one. We were getting tight on the left. You know, GPS wasn't always working the best. But this stuff's halfway decent. It's green. It's greened up quite a bit. 1.5 2 foot tall right now. We'll see what it does. I knew I had too much hay ground, so working it. Alrighty, wrap this up, get down, get to bed. Well, that is gonna do it for today. There goes Yanko. We got leftovers from when I stopped. I'm sure you guys can't see half of it, but huge shout out Kelly, Roxy, everybody at Tri-Valley. I know even with power out, they still got me a load of fertilizer. We got it spread. I think it's all fogged up. Hold on, there we go. We got it spread, a load of fertilizer. Kelly, Roxy, everybody at Tri-Valley. I think Jim was a hauler because Chadwick Snook, he said, hey, he brought me a load this morning to Allen Wait. So yeah, we covered some acres today. The last bit we spread, well, as we see, well, actually this is from driving back in. I just swallowed a bug. I just swallowed a bug while I was talking to you guys. Ooh. Okay. Wow. Alrighty, that's my cue to call it a night. It is 11 o'clock, but appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good one.